running up the score.
Jerry Napoleonello.
The Cowboys made 2 mistakes in the last 3 years. One was letting Dak take over for Romo and not having Romo come back in. And 2 was releasing Des Bryant. Superstition, screw that. Let's pick this bad boy up and walk it around the ice.
Kevin Donlin.
The NFL, like every league, is a business. And in a business, you have a job. And let me tell you something. You always have a boss. No matter who you are, you have a boss when you're in the organization. The New York Jets, you know what they need to do with their second round pick? They need to just start taking it and lighting it up on fire.
This is Running Up the Score, your one-stop spot for all things sports. Join in on the conversation by calling in at 605-562-7085. Now here's your hosts, Jerry Napoleonello and Kevin Donlin.
All right, it's time for Running Up the Score. Back for a big night. We've been talking about it for the last, I don't know, however long. It's our draft show. We're excited. It's 8 o'clock now, so we're about to hear the boos for Roger Goodell. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, man, it's I can't remember a time where the draft at this point was so at odds. You know, you have all these different mock drafts right now coming from the specialists, you know, the guys you're seeing on ESPN, and you know, there's no guarantee on any of these picks. You know, I've heard Kyler Murray going number 1 overall. I heard Joey Bosa going number 1 overall. I'm hearing Quinnen Williams rising up, you know, draft boards. And these big guys on the front end, and there's 3 really good defensive players in this draft. And it's been no secret. And Kyler Murray now is the wild card. You know, this kid is a baseball player and a football player. That's how athletic he is. And the fact that he is showing up here in Nashville for the NFL draft shows that this man wants to play football. Then he is the number 1 pick in the draft.
Well, look at, just look at the crowd for the draft.
It's incredible.
I mean, it's unbelievable what the draft has turned into. I mean, going from a little, Radio City, which, is not huge.
No.
But it's, it's iconic theater. Now they're doing it everywhere. This place is huge. I mean, they're outdoors. I mean, we could talk about how dumb this is. Outdoors, talking about weather delays and stuff like that. But from the people that, I've read that are there, they basically said it's a great atmosphere. Right now, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But, I'm hearing that Kyler Murray is going to be probably the number 1 pick. And also now we're hearing Raiders may be talking a trade with the Niners at the 2 pick. So that's going to be interesting.
That would be really crazy. And this is what I mean when I said there's been so many possibilities from these specialists, and obviously trades are included. There's been rumors left and right about teams all over the place that are trying to move up in the draft. And then you're hearing rumors about the New York Jets very interested in getting rid of their 3rd overall pick. So there's been stories upon stories regarding the matters of the draft right now. And, it's finally here. And that's what makes this, so exciting right now. The draft is going on as we speak. Kyler Murray looking like to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. The kid is a straight athlete. And he's an incredible player. And, people were unsure about him on the basis that, is he going to play baseball as well? Which we've seen before a long, long time ago, but it definitely is possible. 2 different players have done it. There's no reason why this kid wouldn't be the 3rd, and that was a little bit of the iffy standpoint about him being the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Because how did it work with Deion Sanders? Didn't he miss a couple of the first weeks of a season or something just so he could finish baseball?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting when it comes to playing both sports. Both Bo Jackson too, another guy.
Now you wonder, with Arizona taking Kyler Murray,
Yeah.
what's going to happen at the end of this draft, folks? Now, Rosen is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's been known at this point. Clearly, Mr. Was it Kingsbury, right?
Yes.
Their new head coach.
He's been outspoken about Kyler Murray since he got the job.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like, you know, with other things, you know, he's like, you know, it's hard to say, but basically, I'm excited.
Yeah,
you know? It's just the way that this is going to turn out.
Legitimately, when you think about it, now there's going to be either a battle coming out or this man is getting traded.
Yeah.
And, you know, it makes you absolutely, you know, just feel like how the rest of this first round is going to go from here on out. You know, obviously right now it sits at the 49ers taking, you know, the second overall pick in the draft. But, you know, clearly, you know, Arizona had their interest in this man. It's no secret that he is a phenomenal, you know, player. So you get the quarterback you want as a new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. That's what it really comes down to. And, you know, Kingsbury's doing what he wants at this point. It's his team. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to go get who I want. And this is who I want under center, which is, folks, we've known at this point now, the quarterback is the most important position in football. You need one. You don't have one, find one. Or else you have no chance in this league. You know, the Kansas City Chiefs brought out, you know, Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
I don't know how I could forget that name, folks. I'm so sorry. He is the cover athlete for Madden.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, that's exactly why it came up. But I'm just saying, you get a player like that now, and look at the difference it's made. You know, Kansas City was a pretty good team with Alex Smith. They became a great team with Patrick Mahomes. And, you know, the end is nowhere near. So, as far as Arizona, you know, clearly there's a huge revamp that needs to be done within the organization. You know, finishing in last, it's just with the worst record. It's really a huge setback. It gives you this opportunity.
Yeah.
But you need to hit on your opportunities in this league. I've seen a lot of bust before.
Yeah.
Where guys early on got drafted. It caused a huge uproar. When you don't hit that pick, it is a big problem. It's a huge setback for your organization. And clearly right now Kingsbury is in the process of just viewing it as Kyler Murray is the man he wants. Under center, most important position, wants to find ways to win games because clearly that's exactly what they weren't able to do last year, hence why they fired their coach. And we all know in this league, the NFL GM's patience is very thin. They expect to win every single year. And, you know, coaches are on hot seats every season. I've never seen one safe coach. I can't name one safe coach in the NFL aside from Bill Belichick. No, everybody else could be fired. Pittsburgh doesn't make the playoffs this year. Mike Tomlin is fired.
Yeah.
I don't care if you lost Antonio Brown. I don't care if you lost Le'Veon Bell. We just signed Big Ben to a huge contract. And if they have a disappointing season, you can bet that Mike Tomlin might be on the hot seat at that point. This is what I mean. Like, there is no safe jobs. So for Kingsbury, just getting his first NFL gig, very young guy, very unexpected that he would go right from offensive coordinator straight to head coach. But the pressure's already on him. He's already got, you know, the bullseye on him. Now you need to find a way to succeed in the NFL.
Well, you know, Arizona last year 3-13. This year, their strength of schedule is 527. Their biggest needs are offensive line, wide receiver, tight end, defensive line, and cornerback. Big positions to get a need out of. You know, and they just drafted Josh Rosen last year. So now there's talks of, you know, obviously.
What are they doing?
What are they going to do?
But what are they doing in general?
Well, there's talks right now that the Giants are still in ongoing talks with the Cardinals for Josh Rosen. You know, for the Giants, it probably needs to happen. They need to make a deal for a quarterback, unless they're planning on doing it in the draft this year. there's talks about Daniel Jones. There's talks about Dwayne Haskins. This is where the Redskins are talking about moving in to the top 5. Talking about Dwayne Haskins.
Oh, you hear the boos?
Roger Goodell's getting booed as we speak right now. Maybe because Marcus Mariota's on the stage right now. I guess because they're in Nashville. So, but
of course, you get their start out there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Arizona, in about 2 minutes, we'll give our pick of our mock draft. As we said, the consensus here is Kyler Murray is that pick. Then it's going to get interesting. Do the Cardinals, as we were talking about with Josh Rosen, do they make the deal now or do they wait? Going into, training camp, they might get a better shot at trading him for more. Do they wait until the trade deadline? They could. There is talks that they can keep him on the roster. So this is why the draft is so great. This is why the draft is so great. We're excited. The draft is just starting now, and I guess we can say Arizona is on the clock. But as we said, Kyler Murray's going to be this. He's going to be this pick.
Coming from I'm obviously the New York Jets and a huge fan. And from our standpoint, I'm happy with this pick. Obviously, the New York Jets had no interest in a quarterback, and to get one of these 2 big-time defensive players was something ideal. Whether you can get Bosa or Quinn Williams. There's no doubt Josh Allen is right in that category too. But the hype has just been so high on those first 2 that, for the New York Jets to have a shot at that, I think is something ideal. I think it's someone they should draft. But they are talking about them trading back, and, we'll see what happens. But
actually, there's big talks that the Jets are trading back, and
which is unfortunate because I think Quinn Williams or, Nick Bosa can easily,
that's the thing.
Easily
with Quinn Williams, Quinn Williams can play. He can play in basically any system. Nick Bosa is a different kind of player. I think
he's a pass rusher. It's something the New York Jets really need.
He's gonna have more trouble in a 3-4 than a 4-3. So when it comes to system, Quinn Williams can play in any system. Nick Bosa kind of needs a 4-3. You can move him inside, but he's more of the guy, hands in the ground, coming around the edge. It's
a tough fit.
Yeah, and he's not as big as his brother, obviously.
Well, he's up there though, man.
He's up there.
He's 6'4", I think 266. I think I read.
You know what?
That's pretty big.
Where do you now? How would you look at this? Now, obviously, Nick Bosa didn't play basically the whole year because of injury. Where does when it comes to your draft board? Do you?
Yeah, I was still confused about the number 1 overall pick possibility for him.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, at the end of not this season that just ended, the season before that, at the end, it was like a lock that he was the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously he gets hurt in the beginning of the season, and then it comes down to, the injury. He sits the whole season. Then you have Kyler Murray, more talk of him. After basically he said that he's joining the NFL, that kind of changed everything.
We've talked about it over and over, that you need those front lines.
Yeah.
Now, I don't care if it's Quinn Williams or it's Bosa. Those guys are the guys you want up front. And those are the difference makers. We call it the trenches. And you got to win that war. And if you're going to win football games in this league, you need to win that war on both sides of the ball. So, for the New York Jets, if they're going to trade back here, like I said, there's no doubt about it, an offensive lineman would be ideal, and at that point maybe just try to get more value. And from what I'm hearing, the value is just going to be there for a very, very long time.
What makes me laugh? Did you see the video, Dak Prescott's video towards Kyler Murray?
No.
It was just basically him talking about being doubted and like not to listen to people who doubt him and this and that, and
I don't think there's any doubt about
how
Kyler
is there
Murray.
any doubt? I mean, the guy was drafted in the top 10 in the MLB, then decides, oh, you know what, I'm going to play in the NFL. You know, screw the athletics. I'm going to play in the NFL. Now they're talking about this guy. This guy has been talked about, the number 1 pick, for how long now? Probably about 2 months now.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that, doubt is. Dak Prescott's a 4th-round pick. He's a 4th-round pick. I'm still doubting Dak Prescott. I think the video is stupid. It was an Oklahoma video. They came up. I don't know where they come up with, having Dak Prescott come into it, but just overall, I thought that was kind of dumb. Even as a Cowboys fan, but it just this kid. Obviously, the doubt. If we want to say doubt, the doubt has been his size. No doubt in my mind that this kid's got the wheels, he's got the arm. He's got it. It's just the height. And that's always been an issue for Kyler Murray. That's why I felt like I'm not even going to lie. On this show, I've said that it was dumb that he decided to go the NFL route than the MLB route, because you know what? You have a longer career in obviously the MLB. You have the durability, I guess, because you're not getting hit and pounded nonstop. So, I mean, for me, I thought baseball was his route. But you know what? He decided to go football, and it's looking more and more like, it's going to be the first pick. And we got about 6 minutes still left on the clock. For some reason, the draft started real late, like 15 minutes out. So to me, obviously we're dragging it on here. Because we thought that the pick would be in already.
Well, but, you know what it is, is that it's really, to me, I'm very excited. I'll tell you from the standpoint of a New York Jet fan, I think every Jet fan can agree that any quarterback that was going to go early on in this draft was a huge win for the New York Jets. Clearly zero interest in that no matter what. And you just want to have that good player now, which was Quinnen Williams and Bosa. These guys are the two that no one's even referring to. I'm getting away from the Kyler Murray thing at this point because there's no doubt about it. Arizona got their guy. It's going to be interesting what happens with Josh Rosen. And that's really what it comes down to. No one knows yet. The best part is that it could be done by the end of the first round right now. Or like he said, it could be done just at the most ideal time. And that's the most important part. You got to get the top value. You drafted him with what, the 9th overall pick? 10th? It makes you question what they're doing right now. This is not something that, looks good on an organization, drafting a quarterback back-to-back years in the first round. And it just shows the kind of player that Kyler Murray is, because folks like me from out of town are referring to the organization right now as, almost like a Mickey Mouse performance because of what they're doing. But if the kid is that good, then you go for it. And, Kyler Murray, there's no doubt, and we've said this over and over about how he's a great player. He's going to be good in this league. But where do you draw the line when you, like he said, there's so many needs on this team. You're not a quarterback away from performing.
The thing that gets me now, this team has been on the clock for 4 months now. Why are we taking this down to the 4-minute mark? You have 10 minutes here. 10 minutes here, but you've had 4 months. I understand with the other teams. You've had 4 months. Okay? You've been on the clock for 4 months. You've actually been on the clock since September. All right? Before the season started, because you were that bad. So, to me, I just don't understand what we're waiting for. And now they're all looking at each other in the war room. They're not like handshaking or anything, so I don't know what's going on. Steve Keim looks like he's just like standing there looking at the computer. I don't understand what's going on.
That's what we're doing.
I know. It's like
it looks
come
like
on.
We're standing at it. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you know.
What do we wait?
Well, this
the
is
rain
how it
has
is.
started, by the way. The rain has started.
Well, you knew that was coming, and you know, obviously, what happens is that when it comes to these drafts, obviously these last 10 minutes, this is where you get the different kind of offers. That's where I kind of disagree with you on that standpoint. They have their time because now teams are desperate. They need to make the trade now or not at all. So you'll get their best offer. What's the max they're going to give if you've said no to everybody. So that 10 minutes is definitely well worth it. Obviously, this is an important pick, and this is an important, you know, Arizona needs to make a change here. They, you know, obviously a change in culture. You know, Carson Palmer was great for this team for a long time. They had a good quarterback for a while. Why he ever left Cincy to begin with, you know, so Arizona obviously needs the quarterback position. I mean, Kyler Murray looks like you said, he's a little undersized. I agree with that. I'll be honest, I've never been a fan of like the running quarterback. We've talked about this.
Neither have I.
You know, everyone's talking about him being the next Russell Wilson.
Well, Arizona's on the phone right now.
And and obviously Russell Wilson, I said, proved me wrong when we talked about his extension. But, you know, I'm not a fan of the running quarterback. I'm not a fan of the smaller quarterback. Those are big guys on the defensive side of the ball. You just can't put a little guy like that out there. And Russell Wilson, you proved me wrong. You are a very intelligent person.
Absolutely.
And you prevent yourself from getting injured at will. And I've never seen anything like it.
We just spoke about it.
So if Kyler Murray could do anything like that, then I understand. But that is a big expectation
that is
for a young kid.
That is the only reason why that, like, he's even being decided to probably be the number one pick. Because if it wasn't for Russell Wilson, nobody would look at the short short quarterback the same way.
Of course, look at the die down on Drew Brees after his injury.
Exactly.
The kid was short. You know, he just came off a huge injury, and then he comes back to New Orleans and plays the way he does. So the short quarterback question should not be. I mean, when it comes to short, I don't mind. It's, you know, and the way Drew Brees plays, he's not going to get hit a lot. I should say, but someone like Kyler Murray or somebody like Russell Wilson will take extra hits when they're trying to run the football, because I've never agreed with that quarterback running the football. You hire another man and you pay another salary to run the football, and those guys run it pretty fast. Oh, well, you know, Russell Wilson's kind of fast.
All
okay.
Right. Guess what?
These running backs are the fastest, and that is the basis of why you cannot really bank on a running quarterback. I've always been confused by it to this day. Still.
Well, we have the pick, and I'm tweeting it out right now. The Cardinals have selected quarterback out of Oklahoma.
Wow.
Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is the number one pick. You heard it here first on Running Up the Score. So, this is big. This is big for Arizona. They got their guy. Now what do you do with Josh Rosen? Who does he go to? Two NFC East teams are looking and have negotiated with the Cardinals the last month or so.
He better be that good.
He has to be.
And, you know, the expectations are going to be very high for someone like that. You know, you got to remember, it questions the whole organization and what they've been doing. Did they get the Josh Rosen trade wrong? I mean, it shows a lot when you go quarterback right here. I mean, I'm still at awe about this. You know, even with you saying it, and we were talking about it even in the beginning of this show. I mean, from a Jet fan perspective, you have to think it increases the value of our pick.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of teams don't need quarterbacks, but they need defensive ends. They need defensive tackles.
That's the other thing.
Those are the important positions, the trenches.
The Jets and the Bills are talking about swapping picks, the third and the fourth pick. So, right there, that's the smart trade down.
Of course.
For the Jets. Because you know what? You only move one spot, but the overhaul that you end up getting.
Oh, yeah.
For that pick.
It's a difference. I mean, look what the New York Jets had to give up. What was it, 3 spots? They gave up a bunch of second rounders. So, obviously, the value come trade day is clearly higher, but that's because, come on, they all got that draft frenzy.
Absolutely. So, I mean, right now, Roger Goodell is at the...
Here we go. Wow. That, you know,
Kyler Murray,
I still can't get over it. And, you know, it just questions what you're doing. And now it makes you. I mean, I feel like the value for Josh Rosen should go down. They got offered a second rounder. They're not getting anything better than that now at this point. And if anything, it might be worse now. Yeah. Oh, so you wanted to draft a second quarterback? Now, that's the point of the matter. You should have traded this man before the trade.
Before the trade, yeah.
Before the draft, on that, before the draft, you got to trade this guy.
Yeah,
and now it just decreases the value of him. I'm very confused. I'm very, very confused about this.
You know what? I like Josh Rosen. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I like Josh Rosen. I think he's going to be a good quarterback.
He's not going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's what I want.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
You know how I know that?
You put him on a team.
I actually talked about this earlier. You know how I know this?
How?
I watched him play in a bowl game.
Yes.
And he threw a ball off his back foot. And this was the play that made him who he was. The whole hype on him. He made a throw off his back foot. It was in front of a receiver. The receiver came back, grabbed it in front. And the only thing I thought when I saw that, and you saw the announcers of the game, I mean,
he underthrew it.
It was so underthrown, and it would have been picked off by NFL cornerbacks. And just by reading you knew he was going to struggle at first. But can he learn and can he make himself a better player? There's no way I could sit there and say, of course not. He could definitely make himself a better player, and he might be a very pretty good player. But I don't know if it's going to be Super Bowl caliber.
I'm going to be totally honest with you when it comes to Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen, when he does get protection, he is a very, very good quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. There's actually video, and I
don't care what do you mean if he gets the protection. Sometimes you know what it is? The NFL's changing, Jerry.
No, I understand.
You need to create your own time.
What I'm saying is
Eli can't succeed in this NFL anymore. Roethlisberger's having a hard time himself. Can't even stay healthy for an entire season.
No, I know. And what I'm saying is, our friend, at least we think we are his friend on Twitter, Incarcerated Bob. He tweeted out actually when everything started to go down, I guess you could say, that the consensus was Kyler Murray might actually be the #1 pick. He tweeted out a video of highlights from this past year of Josh Rosen when he got protection. And the throws were on point. The throws were great. So, I mean, to be totally honest with you, I think he'll end up being a good guy, a good quarterback. A lot of people kind of stood off from him in the draft.
I got to see it first because Arizona went into this league last year rushing. Their running back, their star running back was talking about rushing for 2,000 yards. You can't tell me the offensive line in Arizona is one of the worst.
No, I know.
A lot of decision making is such a big part of the NFL quarterback position. You got to be smart back there. And does Josh Rosen have the opportunity to possibly learn from these snaps? Because no rookie quarterback is a superstar. We know this because there's only one way to learn. You get out there and you get the snaps, and he's got a full season under his belt. This is what also questions about why Arizona had given up on the man so quick. But, again, don't know really what the point is here, folks, is that we don't know what Arizona's trying to do here. We're confused by it, but obviously let's move on. This is the second pick in the draft. You got the 49ers coming up, and from what I heard, Quinnen Williams is so loved by the San Francisco 49ers. I heard it's
got to be the guy.
They love him from what I've heard. I mean, this is coming from sources, they love Quinnen Williams. And
we got. I think.
I don't know. I think Joey Bosa.
We're gonna make our mock draft pick now.
I say it's gonna be Quinnen Williams.
It's Quinnen Williams. I think you have to. Quinnen Williams is probably the best player in this draft.
The question about San Francisco wanting him is that it seemed like they were pretty okay on the defensive line, especially on the D tackle position. So,
that's true.
Why?
I didn't realize that.
What happened?
Baker Mayfield tweeted out saying that's back-to-back Oklahoma quarterbacks going #1.
Yeah, it's pretty cool,
right?
Yeah, it's
Baker Mayfield went last year.
Yeah, man. Baker Mayfield again. This is going to be a fun year, folks. We're going to see a lot of great stuff.
It really is.
But obviously, for the 49ers at this point, like I was saying, they seem like they were okay at the defensive tackle position. So it makes you wonder if if they're the team that wants to trade back right now because they're not in need of that right now, and they can get a lot of value.
It's funny that you said earlier that it kind of dampers.
I just heard they loved them
trade that Kyler Murray deal. getting drafted. And someone else actually tweeted out saying Josh Rosen could be traded for a second-round pick. That's wild. And it could be less.
Yep.
I mean...
So you can tell the value was just lost with the 9th overall pick last year. And we're going to go back 5 years from now, folks, and I'm going to name 10 names for you that should have been drafted by the Arizona Cardinals to put yourself one step forward in getting your team back to relevancy in the NFL.
Absolutely. Picks in.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm hearing that, I really did hear that they loved him. They love Quinnen Williams. He's been going out as being the best player in this draft.
Wow.
Where did they go?
Nick Bosa.
Really?
Is the pick.
Wow. So Quinnen Williams is going to fall into the New York Jets position. Do they take it or do they trade back? If I'm the New York Jets and I'm huge fan, I want Quinnen Williams on my team right now. Give me that guy for 10 years. Yeah, my D-line stopping everybody. I'm about that.
Ohio State.
That's crazy. I heard that they were in love with Quinnen Williams.
That's crazy.
And Bosa,
So now what do the Jets do now?
I say you
do
draft
you have to do you
You have to draft Quinnen Williams.
I think you have to take Quinnen Williams.
You have no choice.
They honestly just had because it was the same thing when Leonard Williams was drafted. It dropped in their lap. Now, do you think about trading this deal, this pick?
I think right now, from the New York Jets standpoint, I mean, it's still a huge possibility, especially since we have the 10 minutes that he doesn't like so much. I wish it wasn't there now either, and I wish they were drafted right away.
That went quick.
Yeah, man.
That went quick. I mean, I felt like it dragged that first pick, which is absolutely nuts. But Nick Bosa, hyped. Does he have a 49ers jacket on?
I don't even know.
He just opened up his jacket. It looked like he had a 49ers logo.
Maybe he knew something that we didn't, folks.
Yeah, right?
But it's crazy. Obviously, a lot of people were talking about him being the number 1 overall pick going to Arizona, and clearly they wanted the quarterback position. Bosa falls right to the 49ers, and they'll take him with open arms. The 49ers, obviously...
They needed defensive line.
Their defense took a huge hit a couple of years back when all those players basically... It seemed like they got together in the locker room and said, hey, let's all retire, that this game isn't safe anymore. And it was a huge setback for San Fran. Obviously, signing guys like Richard Sherman and... Garoppolo trading for that man, and this 49er team looks a lot different. Their head coach is so smart. He'll know how to use Bosa the right way. I think that's what he's excited about, to finally have that pass rusher he's always wanted. His brother's already shown that he could be successful in the NFL. They showed the stats comparing his brother, and they were very similar. But I think it was like a crazy amount of snaps, like maybe 600 snaps less that Nick Bosa had than his brother. And the stats were very similar. So you're getting a good player here, San Fran, a good pass rusher. This is what you wanted. This is what I wanted from a Jet fan perspective. I would have had no problem taking Joey Bosa if Quinnen Williams had gone, and vice versa right now. I have no problem with Quinnen Williams being the selection for the New York Jets, or if they decide to go away and trade this pick, and obviously maybe add an offensive lineman, add a couple more picks, so maybe the picks that we had lost, because as we all know, here in New York, we know the New York Jets don't have a second-round pick this year. So do you take...
Cowboys don't have a number 1.
Well, do you take the value right now of a good defensive player, someone that could really help this team? I mean, you have the captain of your secondary in Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
You have the captain of your linebackers between Williamson and then the new signing of C.J. Mosley. Now you need to get the captain of that defensive line. And that could be Quinnen Williams, even with Wilkerson in the mix. So, the Jets could show a lot of promise on the defensive side of the ball. The offense obviously needs adjustments, but, we know that this offense, could be a new dimension with Le'Veon Bell. And, only time will tell. But the New York Jets right now, I think, clearly, since there's going to be a little bit of a delay here before the pick is made, there's no doubt that the trade talks are in. Every team is contacting the New York Jets about the possibility to pick up the defensive lineman that they want for the next 10 years. That is a 10-year player, folks. Quinnen Williams is a guy that will cement the defensive line for your team for the next 10 years.
Yeah, but
and this is very rare. You don't see it a lot. But I saw it as a New York Jet fan years ago in Chris Jenkins. You want somebody like that in the middle. You can't run the football when you got someone like that in the middle. It's always been like that. And Ndamukong Suh had that hype for a very long time. There's been plenty of players like that that are so useful. And the fact that he's falling right now to number 3 is almost criminal. And the New York Jets should really jump on this. I don't even think it should be a debate. It would be a shocker if it wasn't Quinnen Williams. I really thought he should have went 2. From what I had heard, the 49ers were huge fans.
Yeah.
Obviously, Joey Bosa is just, that dynamic of a player that can get to the quarterback at will, and you just need that. You absolutely need that.
The Jets are trying to trade down. That is the talks right now. So, this is going to get interesting. This is really going to get interesting. This is where I feel like the Jets could sit there, take the best available.
Yep.
And that's obviously Quinnen Williams. Or they could trade back, stockpile picks, and maybe, I mean, you just got your running back a couple of months ago. You just got your running back. What about going for an offensive lineman?
Yeah.
Jonah Williams, Alabama.
Well, that's why you want to trade back right now. This is why the hype for the New York Jets to trade back.
That's what I'm saying.
But they don't want to trade back to 16. They want to trade back maybe, like you said, with Buffalo, talking about 1 pick, maybe a couple of picks. Obviously, you're not talking to the New York Giants. The Giants and Jets, I don't think would ever make a draft day trade ever. Yeah. I don't even think that possibility of that just seems crazy. Even if you were a Giant fan thinking the same way, you would not want to do that. So it makes you really wonder who the trade partner could be in this process. So for the New York Jets, again, like you said, I no problem whatsoever with the selection of Quinnen Williams.
Well, what they have
and
here,
no problem with the trade right now. You just want to make it happen.
For the Jets, their biggest needs is the edge rusher, offensive lineman, cornerback, tight end, and wide receiver. They could definitely use a wide receiver, but I don't think you're taking a wide receiver with the number 3 pick.
No, of course
not.
But you can stockpile picks and get a couple of those guys to fill those holes.
And I feel like stockpiling a pick will definitely be huge for the Jets. I think it's something that, you need more than one need. So that's the best way of going.
Well, we're down to 2 minutes now, folks. I mean, I don't see any trade announcements. When does he usually announce those?
There's that Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's funny what I read actually about the Jets the other day that actually, just because we're on the subject of this team, and, I read that Adam Gase had approached Sam Darnold with an interesting approach. It was actually one of the first conversations he had with Sam Darnold. And all he explained to Sam Darnold was exactly how he prepared for Sam Darnold as the coach of the Miami Dolphins. And Sam Darnold had talked about it, and he said he thought it was an interesting concept. It was good to learn, see what other teams were trying to do against him and the weaknesses of his game. And I think it's a great learning process, and this is somebody I want coaching my quarterback, my young quarterback. Someone I have so much faith in right now. Obviously, his name is on the back of my hoodie right now. I'm a huge fan of Sam Darnold, and I want to see this kid succeed with the New York Jets. He's exactly what the Jets need, and I want a guy that's going to sit in the pocket. This kid will sit in the pocket. Can he extend plays? Of course, he can with his foot, with his footwork, and being able to see that last year a little bit of a touch. Not really a running quarterback per se. Run when you need to. When it means a couple of yards and put yourself in a good position to get a first down. And it just shows just the leadership qualities he's shown since the second he's walked into the doors. And the pick is in, folks. Clearly the New York Jets
They select Quinnen Williams.
Are going with Quinnen Williams. And
best available.
Yeah.
Best available. You had to do it. I applaud the Jets for making this deal, and drafting Quinnen Williams. They got the best player in the draft. They have the best player in the draft. So now you move on. Now, you're adding to that defensive line. I think the next pick, they got to go offensive line. I think you look into offensive line. And I think, you start, as we said, it's all about the trenches. It's all about the trenches. And Quinnen Williams is a huge spot to put in on that defensive line, right in the middle. After losing Snacks and everything like that, I think that's the
move to make. You want a guy in your middle that can, cement this defense.
Look what Snacks did for the Jets. That was a guy that stopped the run. You know, Quinnen Williams can even rush the quarterback. So that's huge. When you have a guy that can stop the run and rush the quarterback, that's the guy you want. They got the best guy in the draft. And you know what? It's a good move for the Jets.
Absolutely. It makes them, their defense, will go up one tier with this one. And it doesn't mean the Jets' defense was, necessarily a bad one, but, it solidifies it. And that's the most important thing of what you're trying to do. Yep, Quinnen Williams, Alabama.
There it is.
And the announcement was just made, folks. Obviously, the New York Jets, they get their guy. They get the defensive tackle that they wanted. He's a big boy. He's a great athlete. And he's someone that's just, we want him to have to be dominant.
Everybody's saying that the Jets already won the draft. I mean, that's you got to be all about that, and and as everybody's saying, best player off the board, that's the guy. And the Jets got him, and now the Raiders are on the clock.
And now, what are the Raiders going to do here?
Well, the Raiders have 3 picks in the first round.
I think they have the 21st and the 27th or 28th.
They have the 24th and the 27th.
24th.
So now, I think
wrong there, folks. Just by the way.
I think you could take the best available right now, and then maybe trade one of those picks. Stockpile more
I would
picks.
say grab Josh Allen. I think he's the next guy that belongs off the board right now.
But what about Ed Oliver?
Josh Allen is a good player. Do not be fooled. He's going to be good. Wherever he goes to is going to get a great dynamic player, a good pass rusher. I watched him play in that bowl game. When he blocked that field goal, the guy is just all over the place. They couldn't stop saying his name. And when you can't stop saying a player's name in a big game like a bowl game for the University of Kentucky, making it to a bowl game, which isn't as common to say, just shows what kind of player he is. He is a good player. He should no doubt be the number 4 overall pick in the draft. From what I've seen in college football.
Yeah.
Just off my perception. I've seen few plays. You catch the highlights, and it's impossible to watch all college football, especially Kentucky games at that standpoint. I don't want to watch them play, Kentucky versus, I can't even name, but you know where I'm going at with
absolutely.
that. Kentucky's not a premier college football program. They could be on the verge of it because they clearly are one of the stellar basketball programs. But and they are a stellar school just in overall. But just to show what kind of dynamics this player was. It's just, he's a freak of nature. He's got size and strength. He's unbelievable, very athletic, and he should no doubt be the number 4 overall pick. But this is the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
So
they like the speed.
I'm not really comfortable in seeing what goes through John Gruden's mind. I don't even think I'd ever want to pick that man's mind because I don't care enough.
Yeah.
Great announcer and a great broadcaster. I actually was a huge fan of him as on a broadcast, and he knows the game. There's no doubt about it. It's just this is not an easy job to do here.
Kind of going to your point. The Raiders had the league low in sacks. So, as you were saying, they need the edge rusher.
Or the freaking nature on the outside.
And the guy is Josh Allen. I mean, I think I'm going to agree with you, and I think they got to go with Josh Allen. Ed Oliver is an interior defensive lineman, so it kind of, I think he could even go 5 to the Buccaneers, possibly. But listen, the Raiders gave our number 1 pick. We got Amari Cooper for our number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. But I think they need the edge rusher, and Josh Allen's your guy. By the way, I just saw the interior line of the Jets is unbelievable. Just the fact that it's Quinnen Williams and Leonard Williams together is unreal. Then you can add McClendon in there too. I mean, they're a scary bunch.
They'll be able to switch in and out. And,
Absolutely.
It'll make the team constantly be effective and have legs underneath them, which is so important. You forget that when you're on the field for like 10 plays on a long offensive drive from the opposing team, and 10 plays is not a lot of plays,
No.
But when you're out there, 10 consecutive plays, especially if you got teams who are playing, no huddle, that quick formation, quick snap, and teams do it to mess up the timing of the defense. And the fatigue comes in, especially on guys that size.
Yeah.
It's common. It will happen. So you need to basically, for the New York Jets now, to have a lot of depth on the defensive line. I would love to have a little bit more depth on the offensive line, and this team will be ready to go.
Yeah.
Obviously we talked about the missing wide receiver, but I also don't think that, I think a quarterback, if your quarterback is that good, he can make wide receivers.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've seen it with all kind of quarterbacks, all kinds.
Well, they're looking to trade Robbie Anderson. So that's interesting. I heard a couple of days ago that they were thinking about trading him. So that's going to be Mike Francesa said that the Jets would take Josh Allen. So he mushed that, I guess. But you know what?
He is the worst, man.
I
heard he had a show the other day where the first 3 callers just I don't know if they insulted him or whatever. Clearly he's not loved. From what I heard too, I'm not even trying to badmouth the man, but he's not a nice person. This is what happens when you're not a nice person to people, man. It's really not hard to be a nice person, Michael. It really isn't difficult. You make it difficult. And this is why you get the feedback you get on Twitter. You think that you're innocent here, boy, but you're really not.
The Quinnen Williams, by the way, just a quick.
It's got to be nice.
No, Quinnen Williams had the highest production grade we've ever seen from an interior defensive lineman. That's Pro Football Talk.
I have no problem having a guy like that on my team. I think the New York Jets made the right decision here. You need to get a player like that on your defense just to make it a different dynamic. And you got to stop teams from running the football. The most important part of football is stopping a team running the football. Give a team 3rd down and 10s all day. Good luck.
Yeah, and I don't mean
even might be Patrick Mahomes, but
yeah. I don't mean to go back and forth with other things, but I'm watching Twitter and things are coming in, so I see quick notes and stuff like that. But we have a pick for the Raiders, and let me tweet it out first.
You want to tell me, or you can let me know it?
The pick is Josh Allen.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I just really talked about the guy for the last 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
He's a great player. I'm going to repeat myself at this point. He's an edge rusher.
Actually,
you talked about it.
Actually,
what, when they trade for
I got bad news.
What?
It's not the pick, and I'm going to delete that right about now.
Oh. Fake out.
Yeah.
They didn't take Josh Allen, huh?
They did not take Josh Allen, man. And they took Clellan. Do we even know who that is?
I'm sorry? What'd you say? What'd you say? I didn't hear the name.
Dude, Clellan Ferrell.
Position? I want to see if they got a need.
It's a defensive lineman, I believe. This is really
what school?
Defensive end.
What school? God, even Roger Goodell had a hard time. He was shocked. They got a defensive end, and again, obviously there are different styles of defensive ends. Josh Allen is supposed to be a premier edge rusher, but sometimes those aren't the useful players when you're trying to stop the run. We've talked about this over and over. If you gamble the wrong way as an edge rusher, you're going to get beat, and teams are going to be able to run the ball for not 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, 15, 18, 12, first down. You have to be able to stay at home. Clearly, the Raiders are looking on a different path. You know, John Gruden is in his own zone right now to change his team up. And this is the first pick that he really gets to basically prove this. And he's got 3 of them.
What the hell was that?
He's trying to get needs.
What was that?
He's trying to get needs.
But what, like, Josh Allen's not a need? That fills a spot.
Yeah, I'm confused by this.
God.
I'm quite confused. I mean, he's a big boy. I don't really know much about him. 11 and a half in 2018.
At a Clemson?
Yeah. The defense has been pretty good. I mean, you know, you
27.
You can't really bash a player. You know, obviously Josh Allen, I think, is a great player, but he played for Kentucky. Obviously, he's a superstar on Kentucky.
These Raider fans have no idea who the hell that is.
Clemson has more of a complete defense. They were a very good defensive team all year long. And obviously, John Gruden saw something in this kid to the point where he had no intention on trading back. I mean, that's a situation where you almost feel like you need to trade back if you still want to get your guy. So
all in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, of course. You know, honestly, what happens is, you know, now when you see that, you know, the Raiders here are just trying to get needs. They have 3 picks, folks.
But Josh Allen's the guy.
I understand, as an edge rusher, but maybe there might be things that John Gruden might have seen. You know, John Gruden, again, he's in his own thing. I'm not going to bash the pick. This is a Clemson defensive end. Clemson has a great defense for a reason. I'm with the pick for the Raiders. I think, you know, if you're getting yourself a player that, you know, maybe can play both the run and the pass, and kudos, I also heard that Josh Allen could play in coverage. But, I mean, the value for Josh Allen has been dropping. But there's no questioning that. It's been dropping. They've had him going to the New York Giants. You know, what did the mock drafts have the Raiders getting with this pick?
The Raiders,
there's no way they had him taking. Not all mock drafts had Josh Allen.
Ed Oliver, both of these, Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah had Ed Oliver.
Yeah, Ed Oliver was even a possibility for the New York Jets.
Yeah, when you look at like the top, you know, 300. I mean, ESPN had Nick Bosa as the number 1 prospect. They had Quinnen Williams as number 2. No one's really talked about Devin White. Devin White, linebacker out of LSU. And then they had Josh Allen, outside linebacker, Kentucky. Could play, I mean, 6'5". He could play with his hand in the ground. So it's
maybe, you know, John Gruden right now is on the basis where he's just, you know, trying to fill in needs. And obviously, you know, maybe he doesn't need, you know, the outside linebacker. And it could be part of the reason why they traded Khalil Mack. That's exactly what he was. Yeah, he's defensive end, but he played outside linebacker. There's no questioning that. You know, maybe the style of defense that Gruden's going with, he wants a big front.
Yeah.
And me personally, I thought Josh Allen was a perfect standpoint on the basis that if you can get a linebacker that can cover, they're very important.
Yeah.
You know, you want linebackers that can cover. The New York Jets kind of messed up on it. You know, they took someone like Darren Lee, who was still undersized, but it was because he can cover. And they're talking about Josh Allen not being undersized and can cover. So, I mean, I'm talking up the kid because I liked him in a Jet uniform. I had no problem taking him at number 3. So that's just where my value is on the guy. Obviously, John Gruden's got more more written up about these picks with his, you know, war room.
Well, you also have Mike Mayock too in there now.
Yep, that's true.
So that's another one. So, you know, Mayock's been doing this for how long? You know, he it's not like really anything's changed. Like he obviously does his homework on all these guys. So, you know, it's just interesting because Gruden does a lot of homework. Everybody talks about how he does a lot of homework. So maybe they see something. You know, listen, Clemson just won the national championship. They beat Alabama. Their defense shut down a very, very good offense when it comes down to, you know, the Alabama offense. So, you know, overall, like I said, they may see something in, you know, Clelin Ferrell, and they pulled the trigger.
Well, they definitely did see something, and the basis is that Clemson had one of the best defenses in football. college football's championship game speaks for itself. So I think John Gruden saw great tape on this kid and hasn't looked back, and I ain't going to question it. I still refuse to question John Gruden until things start to go sour, and everyone thinks it's already gone sour. Everybody thinks he's already destroyed the Oakland Raiders. But it wouldn't really look too good if you grabbed yourself, or you traded away someone like Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
And then go right back out there and get basically another outside linebacker. It questions, all right, well, was it a need or not?
It's cheaper.
And it's a cheaper option, but still.
Cheaper.
I know, but at this point, I mean, the Raiders, who's making money? I know their offensive line makes a good buck, but I know they got rid of one of them. The New York Jets scooped up one of those on a trade. And, obviously, I was excited about on the basis of getting a better offensive line upgrade, the best way to put it. But the Raiders, money shouldn't be an issue right now. The only issue they have is that they pay their head coach $100 million. So, going forward here, I mean, I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to object to it. I don't know enough about the kid. All I know is that the Clemson, defense, no question, was one of the best.
Well,
and this kid must have been a premier part of it from the tape that John Gruden put up.
My bad.
It's all good.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will select Devin White, a linebacker that I just brought up from LSU. It was a need. Obviously, it's their biggest need, linebacker. So,
him and Levante David, huh?
Yeah. This is a big pick for the Buccaneers. Now, do the Giants, when you kind of look at it now, do the Giants select Josh Allen? Now, this is kind of where we were talking about, because the Redskins were talking about moving up to the 5th pick or the 4th pick. They wanted to take Dwayne Haskins. Obviously, this is the pick where the Redskins were like, we need to get in front of the Giants. We need to get in front of the Giants. That didn't happen. Now, do the Giants take Dwayne Haskins? This is where it gets interesting. This is where the draft really turns, because
I think
the Raiders threw off everything.
There's no question right now, if you're at home and a New York Giant fan, the drafting of Dwayne Haskins doesn't seem too ideal right now. And
not with Josh Allen still on the board.
No, of course not. And I think Josh Allen should be the guy they go after. But, you can understand where they're coming at as a Giant fan, just basically being upset if they decide to go a quarterback, especially since you're hearing your GM just talk about, how much they expect Eli to still play. So then all of a sudden you're getting to Arizona's territory where, what are you doing? What's going on? Trust me, I've been there. I'm a Jet fan. What's going on with the New York Jets? What are they doing at quarterback?
Yeah.
It's an iffy situation for the New York Giants. Josh Allen, my opinion, should be the pick. I also think he should have been the pick 3 picks ago.
They can even go for Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver's still there. So
you got to upgrade that defense.
The Giants have 2 picks also.
What pick do they have as well?
They have the 17th.
They need to pick up they need to pick up a great player here, especially on the defensive end. They had to give up a lot of defensive players last year. Their defense took a step back because the guys they had weren't getting it done.
What I'm thinking here is, okay, if they feel Daniel Jones is their guy, I think they make the deal for either Ed Oliver or Josh Allen, because you know what? They could probably get Daniel Jones at the 17th pick. Because if you're really thinking about it, 7, they don't need a quarterback. Possibly. No, they don't need a quarterback. They got Nick Foles. Lions don't need a quarterback. Still got Stafford. The Bills don't need a quarterback. Josh Allen. Broncos, they don't need a quarterback also, because they got Flacco. Bengals, they could use a quarterback. So that's at the 11th pick. Then you look at it. Packers, no. Dolphins, possibly looking for a quarterback. Falcons, no.
I don't think the New York Giants are taking Dwayne Haskins. I'd be really.
I don't think
really
they're taking Dwayne
surprised.
Haskins either. That's what I'm saying. I think, I really believe they could go if they want Daniel Jones, because you know what? Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, their coach, like outside of the NFL, the guy that trains them and stuff like that is Daniel Jones' coach, the Duke coach.
Okay.
So there's a comparison there. There's a familiarity out of that. So I've heard that they kind of like Daniel Jones over the rest of the quarterbacks here. So it's I'm gonna say right now, Giant fans may not be too happy. They may not, and I think if they take Josh Allen, that's where everybody would love it. Because I mean, I'm seeing all Giant fans right now. Josh Allen. So if they don't take Josh Allen,
I'm pretty sure they will.
I mean,
again, who am I to think? I thought he should have been the pick a couple of times already. There might be something that NFL GMs that's spreading around right now that is decreasing the value of this man. So, for the New York Giants, the pick right now is to fix up that defense. Obviously, the defense took a step back with the trades last year. You had to get younger. You had to get younger, get more talent in there.
Now, could they use that 17th pick to trade back up?
Of course.
So, I mean, like I said, you'd have to probably trade in front of maybe 11.
It's crazy. The New York Giants had to trade picks with
wow.
Eli Manning. What?
The Giants have picked. So,
and it is.
Let's see. I don't. There it is. Hold on. Oh my!
All right. Well,
God.
they're waiting too. I mean, what is it? Who could it possibly be?
They're not going to be happy.
It's Daniel Jones.
It's Daniel Jones. It is Daniel Jones. Wow. Oh my God! They took a quarterback. Not the guy that any of you Giant fans really wanted.
How did they not go Josh Allen, man?
Wow. This is oh my God. Wow. Here it is. Let's hear the booze.
That's disgusting.
Wow.
I can't believe that's like real. I mean, again, I'm not. I shouldn't hate. I'm not going to be the kind of person that hates.
No,
and he is doing enough hating for the both of us.
Oh my God, I love it because I'm just watching Giant fans right now, and it is hilarious. Oh my God,
they are not happy.
Not at all.
He wasn't expected to go this high.
One guy says he even looks like Eli.
That's so bad.
Wow. So now we're getting to the 7th pick here, and Josh Allen or Ed Oliver have not been taken yet.
That's incredible. If you're one of these teams right now in the back end,
I would think about trading up.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. But you know what it is? It's so hard to make a draft day trade because the values of these picks are. I mean, you saw what happened with the New York Jets. You saw. And that wasn't even draft day. That was a couple days before. Yeah. And they gave up a lot. They couldn't.
Steve Weiss just said Giants Twitter should be good. But yeah, I mean, listen. To be totally honest with you, I think Daniel Jones is pretty good. I think he is. Just everybody looks at it as, all right, well, he goes to Duke. Duke is primarily a basketball,
We talked about that with Josh Allen, too, in Kentucky.
Duke
was very good this year. There's no doubt about it. They were a much better team.
But
actually, the last 2 years, and it's because of this kid. So
it comes down to, strength of schedule, obviously. But he's a big boy, 6'5". He's 221, maybe a little, light in weight, but 6'5" as a quarterback, that's like primary height for a quarterback.
He's been the starter of the last 3 years for Duke.
Yeah. Not the greatest starting record. But, again, it comes down to your team. Like, he can't do anything about it.
You know, we talk about the quarterback. You know, everyone, this is the biggest argument people had about Daniel Jones. They believe that if your quarterback is that great, that he can change the dimension of a team altogether. And that's the problem that people had with Daniel Jones, was the basis that, you know, this kid was 17-19 career as a starter at Duke. Now it's Duke University. We just talked about it. They're not a premier school.
No.
For college football. So when you try to analyze how good a player is based on his record, wins, loss, you can't do it at Duke University. You just can't. But people believe that no matter how bad a team is, that the quarterback can find ways to make a team win. It doesn't work like that. It never will be. Ever like that, ever. Unless your name is Patrick Mahomes and you can create plays if your offensive line doesn't block all day for you, which I continue to talk about this kid because he's scary and the scariest player in the NFL right now. But when you don't have protection, you ask the New York Giant fans, if you don't have protection in this league, just like if you don't have the best protection at Duke University, because I promise you, those 5-star recruit offensive linemen coming out of, you know, high school aren't choosing Duke University. So to manage what his numbers have been at Duke would just be an unfair analysis. And honestly, if you're sitting there on Twitter right now posting about that, thinking you're making a point, then you're embarrassing yourself on Twitter. You should probably close the account for a little while. Because basing on a record like that when you play at Duke is just it's not logical. It's almost, it's not smart is the best way to put it. I could be more vulgar about it, but there's no reason to be. I'll get my point across. You can't sit there and try to analyze a player. You analyze a player by game film and what a kid was able to do when he has time, just like what he just said about Josh Rosen before. When he had time in Arizona, how did he do? You know, I even saw Josh Rosen didn't even have the best protection over in UCLA last year, or 2 years ago, I should say. So you can't analyze it. I'm sorry. He wants to make a pick.
With the 7th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars have selected Josh Allen.
It makes sense. He should have been drafted 4 picks ago.
Oh, my God. What are the Giants doing?
He's just a crazy... He's a crazy size and speed. And the fact that you can cover when you're that big says no more about you. And Josh Allen is a great player. He's a good ad for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who already have a pretty decent defense already. They're kind of good because they've had Blake Bortles. And they were still finding ways to win games. So that's how I know your defense is, you know, you're good. You're pretty good.
Yeah.
And to add a player like that who can come in on third downs alone if he wanted to, but be dominant and have the legs underneath him.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a good ad for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's exactly what they needed. They probably couldn't believe that this kid sat on the board for as long as he did. But that's exactly what happened here, folks. And here we're looking at Josh Allen now, Jacksonville Jaguar.
The Lions are on the clock. And, I mean, wow. I mean,
he still can't get over the Giant pick. He's still on it. I'll keep us moving forward.
It's just it's amazing. Jaguars are making the selection here. It's Josh Allen. I love the Giants. Oh my God, they're a treasure. They are a treasure, and it just keeps going. I love it.
The GM's talking on Twitter, and it's just the New York Giants right now. It's crazy because the fans of the New York Giants have talked about being a team of just, how can I put it? They're well put together, on and off the field.
Yeah.
Good people they draft. They don't draft what they like to call, you know, hoodlums or something. You know what I mean? Or problems in the locker room. That's why Odell left. You know, I don't think the same lasted for Olivier Vernon. I think it was just on the basis that, you know, you tried to make a team right now that, like, looks good. And the fact that you're going after the quarterback, because the backlash on the New York Giants if they didn't draft a quarterback last year was ridiculous. They were very upset that they didn't draft a quarterback. Saquon Barkley is a great running back. Fans didn't know that. Fans said, oh, he plays for Penn State. He's a running back. Why we drafted him that high? It's understandable. I even questioned it. I don't question it anymore, and I don't think any Giant fan could sit here watching this show right now and call up here right now and tell me that you don't think Saquon Barkley was the right pick. Because he's the one that's going to put that team to the second level. You didn't think he was the right pick?
Nope.
Well, Saquon Barkley was the best player in that draft. By far.
He was, but they needed a
running back.
They needed a quarterback.
Oh, they didn't need a running back?
They needed a quarterback more than they needed a running back.
Oh, yeah, they just...
Look what happened this year. What happened? They were still crap.
I know. Their offensive line was garbage, and Saquon Barkley still did unbelievable.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I think he is unbelievable. But it's not getting you anywhere.
1 year.
It's not getting you anywhere. Because you know what? Another year of Eli Manning. It's another year of Eli Manning. Daniel Jones is not starting next year. Oh, my God. That's amazing. DeMarcus Lawrence just tweeted out, fresh meat.
That's pretty funny.
7th pick last year was Josh Allen. 7th pick this year is Josh Allen. Fun fact.
There you go. It's pretty interesting, actually. Back-to-back years, the 7th overall pick being a guy named Josh Allen.
Yeah.
It's the correct pick. It's the correct pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, I know you still want to get onto this Giant pick.
Well, no,
but the New York
I'm moving
Giants,
on to the Lions.
Yeah, the Giants are literally. Again, when we talk about it, and we're done it, we're off it. But when it comes to the two quarterback system right now, if you hopefully this works out for them on their basis, and hopefully because they're not ready to win a championship next year, but are they ready to win it 2-3 years down the road? If they do the right things right now, absolutely. You still have another pick to work with. You got the need out of the way, and you probably thought you got the fans out of your way. You didn't. They're going to attack that pick no matter what. But obviously, moving on, Jacksonville grabbing the guy that I thought the New York Giants needed to grab, especially after all the guys they lost. I mean, you just lost Olivier Vernon. You lost Snacks.
Yeah, it's really...
Who's taking these guys' places right now on the defensive side?
No. I mean, there's nobody.
It's going to be a bad year for the Giants. I think they're going to give up a lot of points. But you know what's funny? Not even having Odell anymore, I think they're going to score more points than they did last year because that offensive line has definitely been upgraded. And I think Saquon Barkley, the New York Giants offense, could be pretty dangerous this year. And I've seen Eli Manning create wide receivers left and right, so I don't even care who plays wide receiver for the New York Giants.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because he'll create players. He'll put the ball where it needs to be if he has the time. I don't think Eli Manning is done. I think that offensive line was done. I think what the Giants should have did here was grab another piece.
Yeah.
Because you had hope. This was actually a good possible year for the New York Giants. I really didn't think – everyone thinks the Giants are going to come in dead last in the NFC East. That's not true. There's no way they're going to come in dead last because Washington could come in dead last. But Alex Smith, who's probably a more experienced – who's just as experienced as Eli Manning. So I don't see the difference there. I think the offensive line and the defense for Washington is going to be better. I didn't think so after they would have drafted Josh Allen just now. But again, it makes you wonder if people thought that Josh Allen was really a three-down player. I mean, it looks like he's there especially for third downs, and that's it. Edge rusher. That's what he can do. Basically implying that he can't do anything else. But I've heard he can cover, which is also a third down outside linebacker's position. And one moment.
Pick is in. The Detroit Lions are taking tight end T.J. Hawkinson from Iowa. A.K.A. Ed Oliver is still out there.
A.K.A. that tight end is no joke.
He is not a joke.
He is an animal.
Yes.
And he's a good pickup for the Detroit Lions. Absolutely. I don't know what's up with Detroit Lions in their first-round tight end draft picks, but I'm not going to question it. Detroit has spoken for themselves that they are not a well-run organization. I mean, they really have. I mean, this is getting ridiculous now. It's been so many years. You had the best wide receiver I've ever seen in my life. My life. I will never see a better wide receiver than Calvin Johnson. You heard it here. There's no wide receiver better. Zero. Not a single person. Oh, Randy Moss. No. No. Calvin Johnson was that good.
Randy Moss was.
Granted, it was a very short career, but you know what? You make millions of dollars, go retire. This is a very dangerous sport. Keep your health. It's the most important thing. I've never questioned Calvin Johnson's retirement choice. I love it. I just wish he came back the 1 year I decided to draft him in fantasy in the 18th round, and then all of a sudden he likes to make that comeback finally.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. But he is the best wide receiver I've ever seen. And Detroit found a way to have this man and still not make the playoffs. I mean, so that's when you just start questioning the Detroit and what they're doing.
That's because Matt Stafford's not good.
He's not the worst.
He's not good.
He's
the
not
fact
the worst.
that you have, as you were just saying, the best wide receiver in the league, Calvin Johnson, and you can't do anything with him, it's a problem. It's an absolute problem. The Lions get Hawkinson. It just went over. The Bills are on the clock now. The Bills got their quarterback last year. Josh Allen.
Sorry.
I mean,
I mean to laugh.
I don't understand. You don't like Josh Allen?
No reason to love him. I'm a Jet fan, bro.
Well, I know. I'm
That's
just
like me
saying,
being like, hey, you love Eli Manning?
Well,
like his 2 Super Bowl rings? They're pretty nice, right?
He sucks. But the Bills, their biggest needs, defensive line, offensive line, tight end, cornerback, running back. I think their offensive line is huge here. I think it would be a nice pickup if you go with either Jawan Taylor or Jonah Williams. Those are your two best picks for offensive line. Ed Oliver's still out there. Ed Oliver, everybody had going number 4. Everybody had him going number 4. We're down to the number 9 pick right now. And in Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft and Peter Schrager's mock draft, Jonah Williams is the number 9 pick for the Bills. Also, Noah Fant, Bucky Brooks has him, which is pretty crazy because Bucky Brooks had T.J. Hawkinson and Noah Fant going back to back, and they're both tight ends from Iowa, so that's interesting. But I think they could go Jonah Williams or Ed Oliver, and I think right now if you're gonna go best available, it's Ed Oliver. Their needs are in both position here, so they could go either way, and I think it works for the Bills. To be totally honest with you. By the way, quick hockey update, because we got round 2 started today.
What's the score?
We had Boston Bruins and the Columbus Blue Jackets
Columbus.
Going on right now, and the Blue Jackets just tied it up.
1-1.
2-2.
2-2. Wow.
2-2. So
God.
Now he's trying to take down everything.
I know, right? Take down the Mike Whitman. God damn.
So we're going back to the NFL. Bills down to about 4 minutes left. I don't know. Now it's saying just like that. Columbus may. Oh wow, Columbus has the lead. Yeah, it's 2-1. 2-1 Columbus.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow, Boston.
I would love to see Boston.
Well, that's what happens when you had a grueling series. I mean, I'm hoping something similar with the New York Islanders.
Absolutely, bro.
He's played 7 games.
I mean, I said it on the show a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, whatever. I mean, we've been off for so long. I mean, but I said I was like, I hope this series, this Capital series, goes, to Game 7, goes into overtime. And, all that. But right now, we had a pick. And you can continue. There it is. There it is. As I said, you go best available. Best available. The Buffalo Bills are selecting Ed Oliver.
The defensive tackle. Another big boy, folks. Obviously, you need to clog up those holes on the running game, and the Buffalo Bills, they understand that standpoint, and I think this is the right pick for them. I think there was really no hope in getting Ed Oliver this far down. So when someone like that falls all the way down to you,
you gotta take him.
Of course,
you gotta.
I continue to see Jonah Williams.
I
I will continue to see Jonah Williams drop. That offensive lineman, especially the needs, it doesn't matter. I saw Jonah Williams get dominated in that championship game against Clemson. And I mean dominated. And it was probably by Ferrell. But dominated. Yeah. And honestly, I think that's exactly what he saw. Because, with all due respect, Jonah Williams got beat that whole game. And not just, some footwork techniques, whatever.
But in all seriousness.
Yeah.
everybody got beat on Alabama there. Everybody.
Yeah.
Clemson took over that game from the start. So I think Clemson just knocked them in the mouth. And, it just turned out, what's his name? Lawrence, the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's up for next year, quarterback. So that's gonna be huge. That's gonna be the talk next year.
Yeah.
Who selects him?
That's why you don't mind having a good pick next year either. That's why I didn't care if the Jets traded back. It made no sense. I would have no problem getting an earlier pick in next year's draft on the basis
that you can't pass on Quentin Williams. That's a guy you can't pass on.
He's just too good.
No.
I said it. One of those two guys. I can't believe Kyle Murray went first. I mean, this is what it comes down to, folks. I thought it was going Bosa, Quentin Williams, and the New York Jets would be stuck where they were.
I don't even think.
Look where Josh Allen even went.
Like, after the season, that's what we thought. We thought it was going to be Nick Bosa going number 1, Quentin Williams going number 2, and then right where you get to the Jets, that's where it kind of changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so after Kyler Murray started to come out as the number 1 pick, it kind of changes a lot of things, because now it's like, all right, well, the Jets either could have Nick Bosa drop in their lap or Quentin Williams drop in their lap.
And at that point,
or
it's
Ed
a
Oliver.
win-win.
It
was a win-win. I think Quentin Williams and Nick Bosa were the two that I was looking for, and I wanted one of those two coming from a Jet fan perspective. And the second Kyler Murray went off the board, the New York Jets were chilling.
Listen, this draft was kind of what we expected.
And there's still a lot more. There's still a lot more to go. I mean, we got the top 10 in.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, like, this is we kind of expected this the last couple of however long it's been. We expected this. But where it really turned, was at the Raiders pick at 4. That was the problem. That's where Clelin Ferrell comes out of nowhere, gets picked up by the Raiders, and then we move on from there. Now it's like, all right, well, Josh Allen, Ed Oliver, all these guys are now dropping, and now it's like, all right, the Bills they're like, all right.
It'll be interesting to see where these offensive linemen go. I'm surprised Jawan Taylor's still up there. And I'll be honest, at number 10 right now, you're looking at, what is it, Denver?
Denver's needs, we'll bring that up right here.
Denver really doesn't even need
offensive line is their number 1 need.
Really?
Offensive line is their number 1 need.
And they got Paradis, right? They were able to hold on to him, right?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
He's gone.
Paradis is gone.
The departure of Matt Paradis, yeah.
So then, you got to fill that void. You got to get another offensive lineman in there. So, I mean, do you go with Jawan Taylor, Jonah Williams?
It's because if you're looking at Jawan Taylor is a
the hype was coming up.
He's
Williams was the man of the hour. Everyone wanted him.
Yeah.
Jonah Williams, I'm sorry.
Jonah Williams is the guard, so he's the interior offensive line. Jawan Taylor's the outside guy. So whether he plays left tackle or right tackle, that's kind of up to whoever.
So you're trying to go with Jonah Williams here for them on the interior side?
Well, if we're talking about the departure of
Matt Paradis, that's an interior offensive lineman.
I think you got to look at maybe, I think you got to look at Jonah Williams.
I mean, the question is, there's really other ways they can go to. I mean, what other needs were they looking at?
You got interior linebacker, defensive line, tight end, quarterback. Do you see Dwayne Haskins going number 10 here?
Not at all.
Do you see maybe?
I mean, but I don't know, man. I don't know what Denver's doing at the quarterback position between you and me.
Well, they got Joe Flacco this year, okay, but he is 34 years old. So, do you bring in a guy and have him sit behind Joe Flacco for a little bit? Do you have these guys? It's tough. It's a tough pick right here. With Denver.
I think you need to go offensive line on that standpoint, on the basis that you legitimately, like you said, it's their number 1 need. I don't know if Jonah Williams, this could have been a good spot for him. I was talking to him early on in the season about being in even a possibility with the New York Jets.
Yeah.
But that was obviously because of the need the New York Jets had. Obviously they added, ultimately in the offseason, so they were able to get some offensive line help. It's always a plus to get that kind of help, but you need to be on the basis of having the trenches covered. And, for Denver right now, it's a need, and it's what you need to go after. Whether they're going to go outside or inside is still a question mark. I personally don't think that matters. I want the best player, the guy that's going to perform.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, right now it seems like Jonah Williams, the way he's going down. He's dropping and dropping and dropping until he got picked. I don't know who's the pick.
We have a trade.
Ooh, who got traded?
I don't know. Let's see who's on the clock now. Looks like they're trading back.
Wow. You got it here first, folks.
I was just about to say,
alive.
We don't have a trade yet.
Yeah, which is crazy. But, not too crazy at the same time. We're going to see the kind of value that's given up. That won't even leak for at least another hour, though, the full details. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes, the full details of these trades, especially with complimentary picks or conditional picks, actually, that's where it gets confusing. They'll say this trade got traded away for conditional picks, and obviously those decisions and those understandings get released a little while later.
Yeah.
Do you know who they got traded to yet?
Not yet. It is not.
But it's 100% that they got that.
It is definitely a trade. Still waiting on that.
So you think it's Washington?
Let's see.
And got their guy Dwayne Haskins at number 10 overall
to the Steelers.
Wow. Who did the Steelers want at 10?
Wow. Do they go Haskins? Or do they go Devin Bush?
No, they legitimately will never go Haskins here. They just signed Ben to a huge deal.
Touche, yeah. They two more years. So
with a lot of money.
Well, yeah.
So
$63 million. That's absurd to me.
It's incredible how much. 16 games. Again, a lot of practices. I understand. I do understand how football practices work. I'm not even going to underestimate how it is. There's no reason to. These guys earn their money. They get beat up day in and day out at practice, except the quarterback.
Devin Bush is the pick at number 10.
They really wanted him, huh?
Yeah. Now I'm interested to see what was involved with this trade here.
Well, this is what happens. This stuff doesn't end for a while.
Yeah,
They're going to say conditional picks.
The 20th pick.
Yep.
And the 52nd and a 2020 third-round pick. So they got the 20th pick this year, the 52nd pick this year.
So they got a second rounder.
2020.
So they got a first, a second.
And
they got their first, a second, and a additional third in the next year.
Yep.
Not a bad trade at all. You get a lot of value in return.
That's
10 picks is a lot, though. And obviously they knew Devin Bush wasn't going to make it all the way to 20. So it's a good trade for Pittsburgh. They got the guy they wanted. I think it's a great trade for Denver. They continue to add pieces. We all know that Denver's not one player away.
No. And I think you Cincinnati's on the clock now. Cincinnati, one of their needs is a quarterback.
Yeah.
So do they take Dwayne Haskins? That's a question.
That's what I thought maybe it might have been Washington trading up for it.
So way before linebacker Devin Bush was tackling running backs at Michigan, his father, Devin Bush Sr., won the national championship in 1993 at Florida State. He was a first-round draft pick in 1995 for the Atlanta Falcons and later won the Super Bowl against the St. Louis Rams.
Not bad.
Quick pick there. You know what? I was going through some of these fun facts, I guess, of some of these players. Rashawn Gary, the defensive end out of Michigan. Now, there's obviously been talks about him with his shoulder, maybe needing surgery, this, that, whatever. This was interesting to me. So Rashawn Gary, defensive end out of Michigan, created his own sports agency, Rashawn Gary Sports. The agency represents himself and Bowling Green's defensive back Montre Gregory. So basically, he's his own agent. Like, just going through it, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, so the 20th pick, 52nd, and the 3rd to move up 10 spots. So I that's
see, the value is just it's so much different on draft day. It
really is. And you know what? It had to happen. That's how they feel. The fact that all these guys dropped. Ed Oliver. You go on to Josh Allen. All these guys moved down. It helped Devin Bush move down as well, because Devin Bush wasn't going to go as the first linebacker, obviously. So, the Steelers got their man. They needed a linebacker, obviously, after Ryan Shazier, with his injury. So
yeah, they had it was obviously a need that they needed.
It was
they
definitely
needed linebackers, without a doubt. Pittsburgh did a great job here. It's a guy they really, really wanted. Denver got the picks they wanted to trade. Obviously, you want to just add value with the more picks you're going to get, and obviously adding a second-round pick is going to be huge for Denver. So on top of the fact they're still picking in the first round, they're 10 picks down. Maybe their guy was a little farther down the board.
Yeah.
So I think both teams win here. I think Pittsburgh gets a very premier player, someone they really need on the defensive side. Their defense has been scary to begin with, but guys are getting older there, and they're going to have to continue to prove to win. Mike Tomlin's got that team in the right state. I'm pretty sure Pittsburgh will see themselves with another successful season. I said it earlier in the show about them potentially missing the playoffs, but that's not happening, folks. I don't care if they lose Le'Veon Bell. I don't care if they lose Antonio Brown. They make players. Their offensive line is arguably one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in football. They'll continue to win games. They'll continue to move the ball. I think the offensive side of the ball was not a problem for them right now, by any means. And the defensive side of the ball, we've all talked about, it's the most important part. You need to find ways to clog holes and, prevent teams from doing what they want on the offensive side. And, both sides of the ball got to do their work. And obviously Pittsburgh felt like they had a huge need on the defensive side of the football. I mean, they were one of the talks about them trading into the top 10. I mean, I can't believe they went and got the 10th. I was thinking more along the lines of the Jets pick or the 49ers pick, on the basis that those defensive players are very, very stellar players. And clearly there's a lot of good defensive players in the early on part of this draft, aside from Daniel Jones. I'm sorry. We're laughing about it now, but you know what? We might be looking at this video 3 years from now and being like, "What the hell are we talking about?" And the kid's throwing for 3,000 yards. So again, I don't know enough about the kid.
I really hope not.
I just don't. It's just when you have a lot of needs in this sport, and defensive side of the ball is so important. I just can't believe the New York Giants decided not to go with that. But let's not. We keep going back to it. But clearly, the defensive side of the football has been a premier point of the top 10 of the 2019 NFL football draft.
Absolutely. So, because this is going to be a while tonight, it's only the 11th pick and it's 9:30, and we both have a job tomorrow.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So we're going to end it here. I'm going to keep,
please, I need to be able to see it.
Letting you guys know on Twitter.
I appreciate it.
Follow us at RUTS Sports. You'll get the picks before they're even on the podium.
Can't ask for anything better.
As you've been watching. So we'll be back on Saturday, hopefully with a smile on our face, because the Islanders play tomorrow.
Yeah, baby.
And the Islanders have home ice now.
Yes.
Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let Columbus win.
Let's go.
So we continue to have home ice.
And if Columbus wins that series, we have home ice for the rest of the playoffs.
So, again,
that means Stanley Cup.
We got the Bengals pick right now. We're gonna announce it live real quick, and then we just want to throw a little shout out to the New York Islanders. I mean, of course, Jonah Williams had a good ad. A good ad. You need guys that can block
Did I say
up
it was
front.
Jonah Williams?
I do not know.
I don't remember.
You don't even know if you announced that, Jonah Williams.
I mean, I tweeted it out.
Oh, of course he tweeted it. He missed it completely.
I mean, I had to let everybody know.
It's Islanders playoff time. We're talking off season the NFL, and we're talking Islanders playoffs. So obviously the Islanders game 1 tomorrow night, Barclays Center.
Bruins just tied it.
Oh, really? 2-2?
Yeah.
The Islanders, Carolina, second round action, 7 o'clock, right? I would assume. Yep. On Friday night should be a good one.
Yeah, Friday night. I think they might be 8 o'clock.
Really?
Think they might be 8 o'clock.
I'm just glad they're not 8 o'clock on Sunday night, folks. I don't know if you guys are all Game of Thrones fans, but I am one, and I would have been heartbroken if both of them would have been on.
Screw that show.
Oh, he's one of those.
Yeah, I'm
one of those. God, this show's supposed to be all about debates. I can debate that all day, folks.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Let's see, Islanders.
Are we still trying to find out game 1?
7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Was correct.
3 o'clock on Sunday. And you know what? Let's break some news here. Let's break some news.
Bring it.
You ready to break some news? So, obviously, as you can hear, sometimes he brings it out, sometimes he doesn't. I know of it. People that know us know of it. I mean, his Twitter name is Donnie the Voice. So, we're going to do, once a week, we're going to do a highlight. And we're going to do play-by-play for it.
Starting with me.
I'll do the color, and he's going to do the play-by-play. Do you want to give him a little taste?
Of course.
Tavares
takes it up the left side. He can really fly the speedster into the Iceland. I just quoted Mighty Ducks, too. You saw that?
I hate that you used Tavares. I hate it.
Oh, whatever. I'm used to it. That's what I was used to doing.
I know.
John Tavares.
4 minutes to play in that Boston game, by the way.
Really?
4 minutes to play.
Wow.
So Packers are on the clock. 6 minutes left. And
but folks, we're going to try and do a highlight. It could be a baseball highlight, which
it could be anything.
I don't know about you guys, but when baseball play-by-play is probably the easiest job there is out there. Yeah. Especially if you have a good voice for it, you're basically just saying what you see. Yeah. And we're going to try and get you a highlights. Just to be
honest with you, hockey's probably the hardest.
Of course, and I can actually do hockey really well because it's so fast. Yeah. But again, you're just watching what you're seeing, and it makes it really fun. So I give credit to any hockey announcer out there. You guys, it's an incredible talent. Yeah. Jealous. Yeah. But we're going to try and get you a highlight, whether it be a hockey highlight, baseball, basketball, football. Just something to show you just the capabilities of myself and my co-host, who is unbelievable off the air here. The kind of stuff that you don't see, that I get to see. It's unique. The stuff he knows, it's like another language to me. But it's incredible. And for him to be able to have this all set up, it's all on him, able to do all this. So, again, I appreciate it. The hard work doesn't go unnoticed, brother.
Yeah, thank you. But hockey on Long Island.
Damn right.
Gotta love it.
Quinnen Williams in New York. Gotta love it.
Daniel Jones in New York.
Stop it. I knew that was coming.
Yes. And you know what? The Cowboys did have a selection in the first round, and it was Amari Cooper, the best in this whole draft. So let's go. We're moving on. We're moving on till Saturday. We'll be back, hopefully with a smile on our face again, like we said, and that will do it.
I'm speechless from you saying that.
Why?
I just that's how it is.
I mean, that's just how it is anyway.
Absolutely.
But again, follow us on Twitter. I'll be tipping the draft picks. Actually, you know what? Before we get out of here, the pick is in.
What do we got? Nice announcement right before. Yeah. I like it.
Hold on. Let me get the tweet ready.
Wait, you gotta get the song ready.
Well, I gotta get.
Can I click it?
Hold on.
I want to click it.
I don't know the pick yet.
Let me click it.
All right, I don't know the pick.
See, this is the kind of stuff he does that goes unnoticed. I don't even click a button here. I just talk to you. That's all I do. I'm able to talk sports with you. He's the one pushing the buttons. I'm getting to push it this time. I'm just playing.
Oh, wow. We were just talking about him.
Who was it?
Hit the button.
Which one was it again?
The second one, right there.
Right there?
With the 12th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Packers take Rashawn Gary out of Michigan. Defensive end.
Okay. Again, all the defense is dominating the first round early on. Continues to dominate.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
But that will do it for the show today. I hope you guys enjoyed our draft show. We went on pretty long.
Probably one of the longest shows we've ever had.
I know we've done a 2-hour show before.
Okay, never mind.
We're
so immediately wrong.
We're getting close to it. We're about an hour 40. So that's, we're only through 12 picks.
Yeah.
And it's an hour 40. So
yeah, this is going to be a long process.
Yeah,
for the other,
basically.
A bunch of teams out there.
So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back on Saturday again. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at RUTS Sports. Go to our website, www.rutsports.weebly.com, because we're poor. And check us out on SportsCastr.
Yep.
We have big news coming up soon, and we're hoping to find out soon. But yeah, big news. We're excited as Running Up the Score. We're going up. We're moving up. Like the Jeffersons. But that'll do it. I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Have fun watching the rest of the draft. Be breezy.
Be breezy.
And it is all over!
You've been listening to Running Up the Score on SportsCastr Live. We run up the score on sports radio. For more Running Up the Score, go follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at RUTS Sports.